Well, so tonight a 9-year-old girl has been giving a chilling account of how her guardian held her hand in boiling water for taking 2 Ghana cedis to buy food. Madam Ellen Sewa, a teacher, is accused of managing the injury at her house in Gosu, the Ahafua region, for days until the hand began to deteriorate. Doctors at the BBNE government hospital say the girl has a 20% chance of regaining finger function. Her poor family is seeking financial help in saving her hand. Love FM's Erastus Asari Donko has been following the story and now reports.
Now we have the fingers bonding together, and if it continues like that, it's possible that she will have a 20% chance of ever using the fingers again. And so now it's a race against time to try to get help for her. In fact, the mother told me that they don't have any resources at all to seek further medical treatment. And so we have to step in, bring them all over to Komfo, get a doctor to examine the fingers so that we'll be able to know what help will be given and how much that one is going to cost. So as of yesterday, we had a plastic surgeon at Komfo examining the fingers. This morning, we'll be able to know what help is going to be done. But we understand that plastic surgery.
Looking weak, frail, and in pain, Stephanie sports a left hand in bandages and open wounds on 2 fingers on her right hand. Stephanie was named after the husband of her alleged abuser, Ellen Sewa, due to his benevolence. The Pentecost Church elder, Stephen Nketia, requested to bring her over to stay with his family. The child speaks of persistent caning and starving until late last month when she took 2 Ghana cedis to buy food. With anxiety in her eyes, she tells me how she was punished by her stepmom.
On one no rice school come, no them call them no chichile me boy kunyam, no chichile me nine boy kunyam no man ba so na mama no aso me son no di shensu shenim nti audition shenim no man o manager na bo funfunyana mama no kotam blade no de papa ya nyina.
Her biological mother, Margaret Foko, is shocked at the development.
Stephanie, dear na ayo ni achichere ne nsa bonkum no. And was obio na no akasa no susu. To san yam sheme. Nam ka se mommy, enti de wa yam ipeye. E na maame no ebu nkotodwe na wosu. Osan frɛ man ba ko bi so se man ne mla. Ti man ne ba ye na obu nkotodwe a wosu. De aye no. Aye den. De obia wo kakra se ye mpaebo afam sika afam bia onipa ne wo no. Emwa bia wo bia. Omomwa ye na ye mfa nye se be ya abofra ne nsa no ebetumi ayeyi.
Dr. Deborah Mensah at the BBNE District Hospital told Love News the girl needs urgent surgery to increase her chances of saving her hand.
The burns is very severe. Already, all the fingers and the palm are edematous. Our major concern right now is that the child was not brought on time. And so there are already complications from the burns. The child is already unable to extend the fingers. They are matted together. We need to separate the fingers. It's unlikely that the hand was in the water for a short while. If that were the case, then we would only expect like maybe 1st degree burns, which would result in blisters and would usually heal quite quickly. But for there to be contractures and think it's more than a first degree burn. Most probably, the hand was kept in the water for a bit of time.
At the house where the abuse took place at Goso, we met Stephen Nketia, husband of the suspect. He told our news team the suspect, a nursing mother, is sick and has since regretted her action. But police say they are going ahead with prosecution. Ellen Sewa was arrested and granted bail by a Goso Circuit Court. ASP Mavis Perfect Kamasa is a half-original commander of the Police Domestic Violence and Victims Support Unit.
As the suspect was released on bail by the court, and she is to reappear to court on 31st of May. We are also speeding up with our investigation so that we can get the docket ready by then, so that we properly prosecute her.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Goso, Ahafo Region.
So let's stay on this for a while longer. Dr. Nii Nortje-Duah is a clinical psychologist joining us now. Nii, thank you for your time. But I'm just wondering what may have gone into the thoughts of this woman to warrant such a level of abuse. And Nii, if you would have to reposition yourself a bit so we can hear you. But I was just trying to find out from you, and you've come across a number of these cases, what may warrant such an abuse on a little girl for just taking 2 cedis to buy food. That's the account we're here. Nii, if you can hear me, I'm just asking, trying to go into the mind of this woman to find out what exactly could trigger such a level of abuse. Hello, Nii Nortje-Duah, can you hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, I was just asking earlier about what could warrant such a level of abuse for this little child who we're told just went for 2 Ghana cedis to buy food.
Well, I try not to speculate. I have the facts of the case, which is that a child stole money or took wrongly, without permission, took money and was punished for taking the money. And in the mind of the adult punishing the child, this is some form of discipline. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, I'm with you.
So I guess the initial intent is to discipline a child for wrongdoing without putting herself in the shoes of the child, the developmental stage of the child. I think I recall hearing that there's some level of abuse, starvation, etc. So whilst not justifying wrongdoing on any side, discipline can go wrong, and discipline can be extreme and abusive and traumatic, and that's exactly what we're dealing with. So yes, there's a sense of authority or the right to discipline and correct a child, and many of these methods can go very wrong, and in some instances fatally wrong. So this is an example of such. Sometimes, of course, you need to look at the circumstances of the case. In this case, and correct me, Mr. Suga, I'm told a younger daughter of the perpetrator was asked to hold the hot water in which the child's hands were immersed. Is that right?
Precisely.
Hello?
Yes, precisely.
Yeah, so here you see that, of course, this is, highly dysfunctional. Not only perpetrating violence, you are, modeling the violence to another child who also doesn't seem to see anything wrong with it, and, assisted and aided and abetted the adult. So it looks like this is something that is persistent within the home. And therefore, this other minor saw nothing wrong with it. I believe that the victim is 9 years old.
Right.
So, yeah, if you want to correct a child, does the child know what they've done wrong? Does the child, even if they understand what they've done wrong, get the correction you desire using the method? And this is, extremely, extremely severe and even criminal. So I'm hoping that the processes are, underway to bring her to book under our laws.
And our concern also should be the mental health of the child. Right now, we're told that there's just about 20% chance of success in terms of that surgery, but there's still need for help as well. This memory would live with the child as long as she grows. How do we deal with such a case?
Right. Let me emphasize, Bryce, that, some of these things persist for long periods, and children as minors can endure this for a long time because they do not have the power and the means within our culture and our socialization to speak out against adults who abuse them. So that's the first part. There's already emotional trauma at play, and probably have been at play for a long time before this key incident we are talking about. So this is already an abused child, right? There's physical trauma, all right? For you to sustain 20 degrees, second or third degree burn or injury, then I think I read the doctor's comment. The hands must have been in the water, the boiling water, for a long time. I understand that the water was boiled in a rice cooker, right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine immersing the hands. So this child must have been screaming or whatever, and her hands were held in this water. And then when removed, the blisters that subsequently formed were cut by the same perpetrator. So you can see clearly this definitely goes beyond discipline. It's actually a conscious, voluntary infliction of pain, violence on a helpless child. So for the child, this is very traumatic, where the person you trust, you love, the person you look to for protection, care, is the one abusing you. So there's a double trauma there, because it's very difficult for a child to even disclose that. I'm told later she disclosed to her biological mother.
Right.
So there's a lot of psychological and physical trauma that is at play, and this needs to be addressed. She's only told so much. Under the circumstances, with the right professional guidance and support, I'm sure there's a lot more this child can disclose if she feels safe to do so. Right?
Yeah.
It's a very
well, Doc, we seem to be losing you intermittently. If you could just take that point for us again.
Yes. Can you?
We're still having challenges. If you could just try one more time.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
The thing is that very often victims of abuse grow up to be abusers themselves, because the strategies and methods of discipline, conflict resolution that are modeled to them in their childhood is what they use when they grow up. Okay? So there are children who know very, very, very early on, I'll beat you, I'll hit you, and this and that, and they use it.
Right.
Okay? They say it playfully, but it's a model, it's a software, it's an app that they have.
Right.
So you start to understand that culturally, people tend to like to say, spare the rod and squash the child. But you have no means of measuring what you're doing as against the offense committed.
Okay, then.
Right? So this is where it goes typically overboard.
Right.
And this is why we have laws and rules. Let me lastly say, Bryce, if I may. We should be looking at these foster arrangements, these parenting arrangements.
All right.
They are very common in our parts of the world, and many of them don't go through formal adoption and fostering procedure, where a lot of screening is done. Okay?
Right.
So it's another area that we should be looking at and shining light into the kind of arrangement under which children grow up.
Right.
And under which they are claimed to be, fostered by others.
Okay,
so
then.
it's a very sad, traumatic incident.
Very,
I'm
very.
hoping that the authorities are up to the task and will do the needful.
Indeed. This conversation is just starting. We're grateful that you've been able to join us tonight. That's Dr. Ninote Duai, clinical psychologist, helping us with this discussion. Don't also forget that you have a role to play out there. If you're touched by this story, you could reach out to Joy News and extend your help to this little 9-year-old girl whose hands has been dipped into boiling water, obviously by foster parents. But